Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here. Been a freaking minute, y'all. Been a freaking minute. I'm gonna try and keep this one 10 minutes or below. Really, the intention of this video is to just get the ball back rolling on this channel, to reconnect with you guys, to share with you guys, where I've been, what I've been up to, certain shifts, what's changed, what stayed the same, um, and hopefully to create a picture for you guys and for myself about what this channel will be about moving forward. Um, so let's get into it. All right. So if you've been following this channel for a while, especially the last 3 years, you know that or rather, if you've been here since more or less day one, right? Um, you've seen this channel start off very hot, so to speak, right? Posting a lot, posting frequently, lots of passion, lots of energy and effort poured into the channel, mainly around the topic of weed, but also around other topics of personal development, but usually linked towards weed and like weed addiction or weed dependency. And then you've also seen me go through my own personal struggles, right? Whether it's with weed or with posting or with other areas of my integrity, right? Which I would share with you guys. And then I would say the last 10 videos or so on this channel, which were randomly uploaded, over the last 2, 3 years, um, really in hindsight was me not really having a direction with the channel and with myself, not really being clear on what I wanted for the channel and for myself, and just all these other factors. And so I tried to keep starting something with the channel, not knowing what it is I wanted to do, right? I just know that I felt like I was wasting the opportunity, with you guys. I felt like I needed to continue in some fashion, but things just weren't clicking. And I tried to fix my hair this morning, guys. I just went for it. But nothing was working, nothing was sticking, and so I finally made the decision to stop trying to make something happen with the channel. Right, take some time away. Like I'm tired of posting something and saying we're back, right, and here we are yet again, right. So let me get into I'll get into what I want this channel to be about moving forward. What it will be for me personally, what I want it to be for you guys in general, and then at the very end, I'll share, do I still smoke weed? Do I still use weed? Blah blah blah. Okay, and maybe another piece of personal information that will help tie this all together. So, um, in fact, let me start with the personal part right now. One of the personal parts right now. So unfortunately, um, I'm gonna just make this one simple, right? My dad got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer sometime in April this year. He's still with us. He's doing well. He's not technically in remission, but his cancer is stable as we speak for now. And for all intents and purposes, he is on the road to recovery as I see it, right? That alone is a crazy journey in itself, right? Someone who you love, who is extremely close to you, who matters the most to you in a lot of ways, is sick with cancer, and it's serious, right? Life threatening. And so you can only imagine, if you've gone through something like this, you know what it's like. Um, it turned me and my family's world completely upside down, and it forced me to confront a lot of things. It forced me to ask myself a lot of questions, and it basically forced me to grow up, right? It's a forced vehicle of growth for me. And we all know what that's like, right? Whether it's, you get fired from your work, or, you're hit with a massive unexpected bill, or, you forced to change jobs or forced to change schools, or someone breaks up with you or you break up with them, right? These major points of transition in our life, whether they're forced upon us or we take them, right? We're the ones that cause them. They're huge. And this one in particular came off the back of my dad being diagnosed with cancer, and I'm thankful for all the support we have. I'm thankful for his strength. I'm thankful for the universe, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so that changed a lot for me, right? I was forced to step up, not just in my own life, but for the people I love, right? Because my dad is a major pillar and source of stability and provision in our family. And with him being sick and essentially down and out, right? Like unable to lead effectively, unable to just do what he needs to do as the leader of our family. I was not only asked to step up, I could feel the call to step up, right? Not like in a takeover type of way, but in a fill the gaps, right? Okay, my dad used to drive us around when we would go to family stuff. Okay, I'm going to drive us around now, right? My dad used to do this chore, that chore at the house. Now I'm doing that chore, right? Same thing with my mom, right? My mom has to pick up the slack over here. My sisters have to pick up the slack over here. That's all to say, that was a major thing, for us this year. It still is, right? But a lot of the major shifts I've been making, especially in the last couple months, are due to all of that, right? And it's stinky. It really is stinky. And so let me go ahead and then share, what does that mean for me with weed, with marijuana, right? And to create some context for you guys, okay, if you're not aware, when I first started this channel, I was deep in weed addiction. Okay. Which in my world, in my language, that's different than weed dependency. And that's different than weed recreation. And I'll share a lot more of this with you guys in the coming videos, right? I have so much to share with you guys. With weed especially, but also just so much other stuff, guys. It's crazy. It's gonna be so cool. Okay, so stick along. Um, um, so okay, where do I stand with weed, right? Okay, when I first started this channel, and a lot of the people that I was trying to help were people who were deep in weed addiction. And being deep in weed addiction means not only are you so dependent on it, your life is so intertwined with it that going without it is a legitimate problem, because we don't have coping skills to deal with life. We don't have right, we've completely intertwined marijuana as this go-to thing for everything. Okay, and not only that, the big kicker with addiction is that I was completely powerless to make different choices. So in that way, it feels like the cravings have a control over you. It feels like the weed has control over you. It feels like you don't have control over your choices, your body, your decisions, your actions, and it keeps feeding this loop back into your mind of, what's wrong with me? How come I can't do it? I'm so addicted. This is a problem. And then that stress and that anxiety fills you, and you don't have any other ways to deal with it effectively. And so you turn to more weed, right? And it just keeps going over and over and over. So that's a lot of what it was for me in the beginning. I know many of you can relate to that. So I got that handled. Then it turned to weed dependency mixed with addiction, mixed with a lot of shame. And long story short, I'll fast forward to where I am now. So again, ever since my dad got diagnosed with cancer, in the early days of this journey with him, we saw doctors after doctors after doctors for the first couple weeks, right? Like red alert, we need to get going on this, right? And the question they would all ask him up front was, do you have a history of smoking or vaping? And my dad, back then in his high school, college days, maybe right, for a couple of years, but not since then, right? It's been well over 40 years since that time in his life. But it had me thinking. I was like, wait a second. We all know that, whether it's smoking weed or smoking tobacco or smoking anything, inhaling smoke is not good for us, point blank, period, right? Same thing goes with vape, point blank, period. That is not good for us. Our bodies are not meant to be inhaling smoke like that, right? But who cares, right? We just kind of whatever. And after hearing the doctors over and over and over, different doctors ask him, so do you have a history of smoking? In my head, I was like, oh shit, like, I hope I didn't fuck up already. Right? So it's like, all right, and not only that, like, there was no way, given that my dad now is dealing with lung cancer, that I'm gonna sit here and smoke and vape, knowing the damage that it does, right? Knowing that one of the people that I hold most dearly in my fucking heart and soul is fighting for his life, and I'm going to keep smoking, which is one of the contributors to that problem, right? Absolutely not, right? So I don't know, I don't even know when that was, when I made that decision. It must have been at least in May, right? June, I don't know. But all that to say, um, I do still use edibles. I do still use edibles, and it's been a very interesting journey to not only get used to edibles, right, but also to understand where some of the problems still lie for me, right? Um, and I'll leave you guys with this last piece that I think will tie kind of everything together. And I will share. We will talk more about this, and I will share more about this in future videos. Um, what has really changed everything, right? Taking into account my dad's dealing with cancer, the way it has affected me, the way I've been forced to look at a bunch of different things. One of the major changes in my life was, how do I want to put it? How do I want to put it? Again, right, with my dad's cancer journey, right, the healing journey, or just the problems that it is, I was forced to really take a look at what really matters. What really matters. And time is of the essence, right? Because I don't know how long he's going to be here. And that's just an extension to we don't know how long we're going to be here. We don't know how any of our loved ones are going to be here. And that's not to make things angsty and super fear-based. Sorry, I got an alarm. It's not about that, but it's about being honest, right? It's about confronting the honest truth about that as a form of fuel to get going, right? And so basically what my days have been for a couple weeks and a month now, right? A lot of these changes have been very recent. Is just focusing on what actually matters and willing to show up and do what actually matters. And then in between in between are moments to rest, moments to play, moments to enjoy, moments to reward, right? And so what my days typically look like is I have and many of you probably have your day like this too, I would hope, right? You have, okay, it again, I'll try and get this done in under 50 minutes, okay? um it all starts with, especially if you're at this point in the video, this message is especially for you, and this is probably the goldest of nuggets in this whole video, right? And I'll just share what my process and my system, right? One is being aware of what matters to you and choosing 1 to 3 areas of life that I am dedicated 1000% towards shifting and changing. Okay, that's the beginning of it. Being fully committed and choosing 1 to 3 areas, right? After that, getting clear what are the goals of those areas? What do I want from those areas? Okay, that's 3. 4 is, okay, what are the actions day to day, week to week that will then lead towards the goal that I want in those areas? And then, what are my systems for making this all happen, right? And it's very involved. It's very fucking involved. You guys know what it's like to try, or to try and get everything in a row, right? And so basically, my calendar's filled weeks and months in advance, because that's just what it is. Like, there's so much to do and so little time. And so, right now it's 7:22 a.m. Right? I'm looking to knock this video at the park. From here, I'm gonna go play basketball for a couple hours, get some social, get some exercise, get some enrichment. When I come back, I got more work to do, right? And then rest. So, like, what I was gonna say was the process that I go through, right? Once I know what I need to do and I have it all mapped out, right? The day itself, I have maybe 3 to 5 critical items. I have, a host of other items that I want to get to, or whatever, check the boxes off of. And it's work, rest, fun, work, rest, play, work, rest, play, work, rest, play, work, rest, eat, work, eat, rest, play, right? So it's this boom, 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 all towards moving the needle forward and enjoying it along the way, and ideally enjoying the work, right? So that it's not like it's, oh, I'm suffering, I'm working. When do I get to finally rest and play, right? Although it can be like that oftentimes. Um, so it's man, I'm so excited to share more with you guys. It's the 15-minute mark, so I'm just gonna start closing it out, guys. If you watch this video, especially if you made it to the end, um, please drop a comment down below. And in fact, I would love to hear from you. Email me at g.santos28.com at gmail.com, or go to my Instagram, Gabe_Santos. Drop me a line, say what's up, tell me how you're doing. I will respond. And other than that, it's good to be back with y'all. I'm glad to be back on the channel. I'm glad to, have things to share with you guys, real things to share with you guys, right? So here we go. Cheers to me, cheers to you. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.